are now joined by MSNBC's chief legal correspondent, Ari Melber, and NBC News political analyst, Nicole Wallace. And from D.C., Chuck Todd. Guys, good morning to all of you. Ari, let me start with you. As Pete rightly says, there's a high hurdle to get over before you can start talking about obstruction of justice. However, if you combine the words the president used with Director Comey about, I hope you can see clear to end this. You go 2 weeks earlier, I want your loyalty, which Comey said, no, I'll give you my honesty. And then you go to the fact that a day or so after that second meeting, Comey is fired. Are you getting closer?
You're getting a lot closer. This memo is by far the most legally significant thing we have seen to hurt the Trump administration since he became president. Alone, it is probably not obstruction, even though it looks bad. But taken together with the other pressure and the possible reasons behind the firing, which still needs probably a full investigation, it is the kind of thing that together could amount to obstruction.
And a lot of people from the White House are saying, wait a minute, if Comey's sitting on this memo, if this happened way back in February, did he have an affirmative duty to disclose it right then and there to Congress, to an inspector general, to somebody? Why did he sit on it?
Probably not. Indeed, the FBI's more responsible tack would be to say, I'm memorializing this precisely for this reason if more happens. The president certainly gets the benefit of the doubt in that time. He got it. Adding to other information now, it is a memo on file that investigators can use.
The president's learning an important lesson here. James Comey is a career law enforcement guy. He's a cross the T's, dot the I's kind of guy. All you have to do is look at him. And you know this is a guy who takes notes and keeps them. He's not a guy you try to outmaneuver in a real estate deal.
When you have angered presidents of both parties, you sort of stand on a different ground in a political context. And what James Comey learned, he probably learned from his fights with the Bush administration, that in his mind, he's always on the side of angels. He always takes notes. And to come out of a fight with the FBI or the CIA, winning is near impossible for a president who has declared open war on the intel. And you fire
him and then you criticize him, and now his friends are leaking this memo.
Well, and I think that the way this went down, this goes back to being a bad winner. This goes back to being a bad firer. He fired him and then he taunted him. And so at every turn, Trump seems to tempt his own fate by picking fights with people he's already either defeated or ousted.
There are two tracks you could go here. We've talked about the legal track. Chuck, let's turn to you on the political track, because now this all raises the specter over to you, Congress. How serious are you about this? Are they going to get their hands on that memo? Are they going to let James Comey come and testify? He says he will, but he wants it to be public. Where do you think Republicans in Congress go? Because they hold the key here.
Well, they do. I think that, look, there's sort of different barriers here that have to break in different ways. And I think one of the barriers has broken. You now have Republicans this week talking about an independent commission or a special counsel. That was a conversation they did not want to have last week, right? Democrats have moved the conversation to impeachment this week. Okay, Republicans are saying, well, we'll go to special counsel. The point is, everything is shifting. The ground is completely shifted on Capitol Hill. So yes, you're going to have hearings. I think we know what the summer is going to be. It's going to be the summer of Comey. And I think after all this is going on, at the end of the day, as Pete pointed out earlier, this is a political decision for Congress. And when Republicans, when Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan decide their majorities are at stake and the party could go down with Trump, that's when they'll separate. I don't think they're there yet. I think that's what these hearings are going to be about.
Nicole, let me end with you. We have to remember, we don't have a director of the FBI right now. We have an acting director. And the search is on to find a replacement. Does Donald Trump have credibility right now to name a new director of the FBI?
Well, I wonder if he's going to take himself out of that process. John Cornyn removed himself from consideration, saying the times require an independent director of the FBI. I've talked to a couple of folks who've interviewed for that job and other jobs at DOJ, and there's a lot of angst about heading down to Maine DOJ right now.
Can I ask one more question of our lawyer here? I have a former criminal law professor quoted in the New York Times saying, the president is making what she called a beautiful case against himself, and he needs a lawyer. Do you agree he needs to have somebody who says to him, hey, hey, the things you are saying have legal significance now, and you need to watch out.
Yes, and at a minimum, what we've seen in the Sally Yates issues and Michael Flynn is that the White House counsel is now involved in this deeply, so he probably needs private counsel, and he needs to understand that it would be best for him personally, as well as independent law enforcement, to comment less about all of this.
All right, Chuck, Nicole, and Ari, lots to discuss. Thank you so much. We're going to...
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.